Okay, now remember, try to keep the language fairly clean, no harsh swear words, and just subtle ones from time to time. For everything bad you say, try and balance it out with something good. For everything good, try to balance it out with something bad.
We're rolling, mate.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Alright, our graphics engineers are fucked up yet again.
That would be you.
Don't tell them that!
They'll figure it out. They're not stupid.
Alright, okay, alright. Fair enough. Yeah, they're going to figure it out. Hi, I'm e.t.c. You join us today in my review of Bayonetta. As you may have noticed, I've brought in one of my trusty sidekicks, this week calling himself Betamax.
I'm your sidekick.
Yeah, you're my sidekick.
Go
put on the fucking Robin costume!
I hate you.
I know you hate me, but you're here anyway, so let's play some Bayonetta. Okay, do you want to give a quick review of the plot while I load up the game and show our guys a bit of...
The plot. You are the last of a clan of witches. For some bizarre reason you spend most of this game kicking the faces off various angelic creatures. It's never fully explained why you do this, but I have to be honest, it's not really that important. The fact is, you are a witch, you have various witchy powers, and you use them to inflict terrible, terrible pain on the angelic host.
There is an actual plot to this game, but it's not a particularly in-depth or important one. But that has to be said. What has to be said is that they did try with the plot, but unfortunately didn't really quite succeed. As you can see, the gameplay mainly revolves around combat, strangely enough. Is there anything you'd like to say on this, Mr. Betamax? Mr. making his debut into the wonderful, glamorous world of video reviews?
Well, as you can see, it's incredibly visceral. You can see angels being cut in twain there, stabbed through the face multiple times, and chopped in halves, and they vomit out these sonic rings. And that's what they are, they're sonic rings. This is the Sega
these
games.
quick time events.
Oh no, not this again, not this again.
Okay, alright. People who've read my Dante's Inferno review will know that I hate quick time events. I do kind of like the way this game's implemented them. The dodge mechanic, where you saw me going into slow motion. You dodge an enemy attack like this. Well, not like that. But, okay.
Like
that.
Yeah.
You go into slow motion, and you can beat the crap out of enemies whilst you're in slow motion. I do like that as a quick time event, because it just involves pressing the button right at the moment the enemy's attacking. And it makes sense. You get an immediate payoff for it. It's good. I like it. What I don't like is the fact you've got to mash the fucking buttons repeatedly in order to actually get a decent score off the end of those combos with the torture attacks.
Yeah, however, the way the game treats the what you're calling quick time events, it actually weaves it into the mechanic in such a close way that you don't actually notice or mind, that is, unless you have this sort of psychopathic antipathy for quick time events, which my colleague here seems to have in spades. Now, the witch time, and it is witch time in this game, although let's be honest, it's bullet time, is totally integral to the way you defeat your enemies. You can do it without it, but then you're playing like a boring person, a very boring person.
One thing I must say is I do like the sound in Bayonetta. In fact, if we shut up for a minute, we can let the audience listen to it. Okay, I believe you had a couple of points you wanted to make about the sound though.
I think it's a very good rendition of an old classic song. It fits the style of the game as a whole very well. And that is a point in itself. As you can see here, we have a cutscene. It's incredibly stylistic.
I don't like it. I honestly don't like it. I don't see why they couldn't have just gone with a standard full motion video. I don't see what these bizarre stills actually offer to the game.
Well, what I will say about that is, well, it's trying to avoid the obvious there, as we can see, and as anyone who's played the Metal Gear Solid franchise will attest to, long in-game or real-time cutscenes are a ball ache. These ones are, in fact, fully skippable.
Okay, I'll agree with you on the point about the quick time events. I'll agree with you. I'm obsessed. It's not my fault.
You need therapy, really.
I was touched by a quick time event as a child.
Yeah, clearly.
I can see what you're saying about
mash X long enough.
I can see what you're saying about cutscenes in Metal Gear Solid, but I just don't like the still stylistic thing of this. I just don't think it brings anything in, and it just feels cheap, you know?
Cheap? Cheap? Seriously, cheap?
Yeah, it just feels like a cop-out.
Oh, I'm not so sure about that. Where other games may expose you to, well, let's be honest, 2 or 3 minutes of pointless extrapolation about, you know, the emotional motivation of your characters, you're in no doubt here. You're here to kill things and then kill some more things and spray their blood across the walls, and then grab whatever their guts vomit up. That's it.
Okay. I'm going to quit out of this and I'm going to show you the boss fight, and at that time we're going to discuss some of this stylistic thing in a bit more detail that my colleague's been going on about, and we'll also discuss the graphics as well. So let's skip through these and we'll fight Fortitudo, the first main boss of the game, as soon as I get to him. So I need some witty commentary here, man. Come on, help me out, help me out. Come on, you've got an English degree, you're supposed to be good at coming up with good words to describe big things.
Well, I don't think a level selection counts as a big thing.
Okay, it's not a big thing, but...
But this boss is a big thing, and that is one of the stylistic points we would like to touch upon. The bosses in this game are massive, and better than that, they're massive old-school bosses.
Aim for the weak spot for massive damage.
Giant enemy crab technology. Yeah, massive damage. The weak spots are exposed again through your use of witch time. The giant dragon-headed freak-face monster here, Fortitudo, is trying to bite your bits off with his dragon heads.
I don't think women have those specific bits.
They have certain bits you would not like a dragon to bite at. Anyway,
okay, true.
As you can see here, we are in one of the dreaded quick time events, which aren't really that bad, where you really do bring the pain to these giant creatures.
Bring on the pain!
Essentially, the boss fights of the game of waiting your chance to really lay your attacks into the monster. Again, using the witch time mechanic, or failing, as my colleague here has done.
It's not my fault. I was trying to go for the hourglass.
Oh, I see. You're trying to go for the hourglass. Now, if
anyway,
I've had a pound for every time I've heard that before.
What, going for the hourglass?
Yeah.
Is hourglass now a euphemism?
It's
man, look at that chick on the other side of the club. I'm totally going for the hourglass.
No, it's a technical term in gaming. You would know that, you know.
No, I really don't.
You should know that. Going for the hourglass.
Anyway, graphics.
As you can see, the graphics are fantastic. These boss fights actually showcase these more than the individual fights.
Hence why we switched this over.
Well, exactly. As you can see, we are fighting a giant angel. You can tell by the giant glowing angelic thing above its head, even though you could quite easily mistake it for a demon. It's all much of muchness. Observe, see the beautiful face as we smash it in.
Speaking of beautiful faces, the character model for Bayonetta is weird. A lot has been said about this over-sexualization in these games. Bayonetta's catsuit, which disappears every time she casts a spell, or the fact that her legs are about 4 times longer than her body. I believe you actually had something to say on this, didn't you?
Oh, this would be the part where I counter what you've just said by saying it's actually a massively girly game. For all that there's this overt sexualization, it's also, you know, all the power-ups are sort of little brooches and
lollipops.
Lollipops, yes.
Which Bayonetta sucks in the middle of boss fights, which, you know, is so very much not girly.
Well, yes, it's very girly.
It's sexualization. I think there's a difference between a game being girly and being very heavily sexualized.
Yeah, when your power-ups are little jeweled butterflies, brooches and the like, then I think we're in the realms of girliness.
Alright, anyway, we're getting to the end of the allotted time space, so we really need to wrap this up. Conclusions, Betamax. What did you think of Bayonetta on the whole?
On the whole, I think it's a triumph of style. Sega have really done their homework, not that they need to, given their pedigree, and there's an argument to be made to say this would work as an arcade game. They still have arcades now, don't they, Evis?
No, I don't believe they do. There's one in Bangor. There's one in Bangor, but then again, Bangor's a backwater town.
And if they did, this could take pride of place as a cabinet. Yes, it'd be 50p a go.
Anyway, I'm going to have to cut you short there because we're nearly out of time. I'd just like to say I very much enjoyed Bayonetta. I would heartily recommend it. It's got its flaws, but what game doesn't? And its flaws are minimal. So, until next week, this is me, Evis T.
And me, Betamax.
signing off.